Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Sunday Night League. We are here today for the SNL World Cup 2026. We will shortly be going into the first of three races today, or I should say the qualifying for the first three races today. So we're currently looking at the wonderful Scottish car of Gasman, each driver representing a different country, not necessarily their own nationality. Got 11 drivers due for three races today. All three races will have the same points format, so we will follow them through. But we are due to be starting fairly soon. I'll have a quick look across the grid. We've got a nice look at the Scottish car here. The German car, Ben, currently the second fastest time. So here we go. Some very, very nice liveries on the grid. Mosius representing Japan here. Like his livery, a little bit of samurai theme going on. And Wendigo, one of my favourites I've seen so far for Brazil. He will be one of the drivers to keep an eye on as well. I think we've got Rob into the wall there, representing USA, his own nation. Actually, Gasman, very quick, a 28, actually it's a 28.6 gets put on. Bear in mind, this is just a practice session, but these times still a good idea of what we're going to expect to see going ahead when go 28.9. So yeah, a few of them into the 28s so far. We will see how they do come the actual qualifying session, which I think is just meant to be 10 laps of going for it. No slots, no, you only get one lap, just 10 laps, do your best, and then we begin the first race, which is due to be, how many laps? I've forgotten, 14 laps of Fuji, of course in the Group 2 Lexus here. There we go, Canadian car of Ajax. Rob we saw with his traditional Grogu as his co-pilot, Tiny Terror for Wales, hiding behind Scotland, Celtic cars. Keeping together for the minute. So I'm not quite sure what the delay is in getting started, but I'm hoping we will get underway fairly shortly. Then Edgar, we see pulls into the pit lane. In fact, we'll come out here so we can get a nice look at all the different cars at once, just the side profiles. These are the 11 drivers, the 11 cars we're going to see. I say the 11 cars. Each driver will be driving the Group 2 Lexus, the 2016 version specifically, followed by the Camaro, and then, followed by the BAC Mono, and then followed by the Chevrolet Camaro 2016. It's now 2 minutes past. I don't know why we haven't started yet. Okay, I found out the issue. The admins are waiting for me to send the ready message, and I was waiting for them to send the ready message. So shortly we'll check in that all the drivers are ready, and then qualifying will be underway once that has happened. There we go. There goes that ready message that we're each waiting for the other to send through. The drivers will acknowledging ready for the qualifying session to begin. There's the wonderful Mount Fuji in the background, racing under its shadow. for this first of 3 races. Then you're heading halfway around the world to Brands Hatch and finishing off at Laguna Seca. Okay, so I think all the drivers have said they're ready. 1, 2, 3. A few haven't. We will shortly be starting the race. I know I've said that about 5 times now, but hopefully fairly soon. There's still a couple of drivers not giving the go-ahead. Okay, start qualifying now. Away we go. So Fuji, the only track with the potential of rain worth mentioning. The other 2, Brands Hatch and Laguna Seca, no chance of rain. So there's going to be rain, it's going to be this session. Oh, from lots of things, we have got nice, sunny, blue skies. So first driver exiting the pit appears to be Timosius, shortly followed by Edgar. Japan, Lithuania, Brazil, our first 3 cars is Edgar. So we're looking for the move for his outlap. Drivers all going to be on racing soft set. They just have 10 minutes to set the best lap they can. As many attempts as they like. No fuel to worry about. No tyre wear to worry about. It's just you and the car. What can you set? What can you bring? Timosius will be guide for our first time around. One of the drivers towards the front end, certainly one of the ones I would expect to be in contention for the front of the course for 3 races, especially with the reverse grid of that 3rd race. Consistency is so key here. So warming up the tyres, getting himself into a groove. Car right on his tail. I'd expect to see the cars want to separate a little bit more. It's actually Timosius letting Edgar go, not wanting the car right up his rear bumper. So Edgar will be our guide around for his first lap. As he comes towards the line. And shows us how it is done. The heavy braking zone at turn 1, so much time to gain if you can get it right. Of course, going deep can cost you so much. These cars, if you can get them down at the right speed, very nice through the corners, but prone to understeer. Should you get it wrong, appears to be down on the power, nice and well towards turn 2. You want to flick in as late as you can, catch the apex, use the runoff as much as you can, and there we go. Nicely done from him. You have to tie and cut back into the middle. Seems to have done a fairly good job. No tap of the brakes, as some drivers may do, to help the rotation, opening up the steering, opening up the throttle as much as you can now, using all of the track. Then down towards one of the trickiest corners, one of the heaviest braking zones of the track. A wonderful overtaking opportunity there to throw you off if you're not ready and concentrating through this tricky bit here. You have to eat the curbs as you go over them. The adverse camber, uphill right-hander, a nasty corner, very deceptive, followed by the left-hander. We have to really hug the inside, just clatter over it. There isn't much you can do in terms of control. You just have to go right the way through it. So many different lines through this last corner. Taking a wide line, but opening up for the exit is Edgar, and towards the line we will see what he can put down as the benchmark. He comes towards the line. The first lap on the board will be a 1:28.6. Timosius, our next man, a 28.4, improving as Gasman, a 27.9. Bunny's a 28 flat, which is what he told me he predicted the pole would be. I'm interested in what Wendigo could do No, it's only a 28.1 P3 for him. Ajax a 29.0. Tiny Terror also a 29.0. Just 3 hundredths behind him. Slender Fella up to P9. So they've all set the first lap. Rob, the only real one, weighs back 38.5. Plenty more to find. Shouldn't be a mistake somewhere in his lap. Sutkus, I would expect the same. But actually, 9 drivers within a second and a half. That is pretty good going. Slender Fella buying himself a bit of space. Ben P8 for the minute. Tiny Terror P7 just behind Ajax. The top 5 all within just over 3/4 of a second. Stamosius, he's ruined this lap from the looks of things. He'll be getting out of the way of the drivers behind him, as yes, Scotland and Ukraine pushing through, and actually Bunny's pushing Gasman around the track here. Little bit of lag for Bunnies. I say a little bit of lag, a lot of bit of lag. These two guys up front who are currently fighting for the pole, and given the fact Bunnies looks to be overtaking Gasman, certainly seems to be in his favour at the minute. I'm not quite sure going side by side, particularly good idea. They did both set slow laps because of it though. Wendigo not able to improve for him. Timosius, he was on a slow lap. Ajax has improved by I think 14 thousandths of a second as Rob is into 29, so he'll be quite a bit happier with that lap, catching up with the rest of the field. Sutkus not able to improve, 3/10 down off his previous lap. Slender Fella's another one who had a slow lap. Quite a few of them just pace themselves, give themselves another lap to prepare for the next one. About halfway through the session at the minute. Still plenty more time to find more time. Bunnies on a slow one behind Timosius. Now is Timosius on a slow one? We cannot see his sector times. But I'm going to assume he is up to something. A little bit deep as the clouds kick in, but we know from the practice session this is not due to be rain, it's just due to be fairly cloudy. So here we go towards the line. The target to 27.9. His current time 28.4. Does he improve? No, he does not. 10th, just under 10th behind where he was previously. Ben up to P8 with 29.1. Edgar up to P4 with a very impressive lap. As Ajax again has another incremental improvement. Look at the consistency of this man. 3 laps within just under a 10th. I mean, you're always looking for improvement, but I suspect most drivers wanting a bit more improvement than that. Did we get any others? I wasn't watching to see who else improved their lap. Gasman is still benchmark. We'll watch the Scotsman driving around the Scottish livery. So here we go, representing Iron Brew here. So he is a couple of tenths down, so not going to be improving this time around. How many laps? I think the drivers of this lap plus 2 more, and that will be the end of the session. So Bunnies to the line. Do we see improvement? No, we do not. How about Wendigo? And he's got a wonderful slipstream here. I don't think he's improving this time around. Edgar not able to improve, but in the 28s again, which is always a good sign. Moses on a slow one. Ajax. Look at that man's consistency. Again, another lap within that same benchmark. 29.0, 29.0, 28.9, 29.0. Slender Fella, a 29.3 from him, putting him just shy of Ben. The field still fairly close. Sutkus did find improvement down to 30.1, but not close enough to rob just yet. And this is insane consistency though from Ajax. Oh, we've got someone going around. I think that is, yeah, Edgar. Don't know if waiting or just off to the side. So how have we got any improvements? How do we get where the sector split is? We'll stay on board with Bunnies. Stop jumping around. There's, oh, no, he's at a moment. Or maybe he wants slipstream onto his next lap. There's certainly some lag going on there, which might affect the drivers behind. There we go, that was Ben. So he will be the first driver to start his final lap. Does he get an improvement this time around, or has he got? Well, he does. Up to P6, 28.8 for him. Wendigo with 28.1. Ajax finally breaks the string consistency, but he improves because of it. 28.7 for him. Any other improvements to come? I'm not seeing any other on timing board just yet. Sutkus, a 29.9. Everyone now sub 130. So Ajax slightly down in the first sector, missing the apex a little bit more than he'd like. Somebody, slender fella, already called it quits, returning to the pits. Gasman, that first lap still holding strong. He set one banger and not been close since. That's all you really need in the quali format like this. Bunny's not due to improve 4.5 tenths down. We won't see anything from him. Wendigo potentially going to get something, although he has just gone a little bit wide. See what he can do. Bunnies, we know not to expect to improve given the sector 2 split. Wendigo has lost a lot to Bunnies through this last sector. It's unlikely we'll see anything from him. Next man to the line is Ben, currently sitting in P7. No improvement from him. None from Wendigo either. See about other drivers. Anything from Timosius, or will it still be Gasman? Still seeing no improvements come up on time board. Sutkus to the line, nothing. Rob to the line, nothing. Timosius. Oh, actually, that was a mighty slow lap. Don't know, I didn't notice that. Tiny Terror, last man to the line, and again, no improvement from him. So there we go. That concludes the World Cup qualifying, the only qualifying of the 3 races here today, dictating the first grid, and it is Gasman in the Scottish Iron Brew sponsored car right up the front. Bunnies will be alongside him in the Ukrainian car. Wendigo for Brazil, Edgar for Lithuania, Timosius for Japan, Ajax for Canada, Ben for Germany, Tiny Terror for Wales, Slenderfella for England, Rob for USA, and Sutkus for Norway. 2 seconds separating the field, but more interestingly, the top 7 separated by less than a second. So we'll take the time to admire my favourite livery on the grid, this wonderful Brazilian livery. So here we go. We'll have a quick look through the results here. Gasman, only man in the 27s. Bunnies, Wendigo, Edgar, Timosius, Ajax, and Ben, the final man in the 128s. Then Tiny Terror alongside him. Slenderfella, Rob, and Sutkus finishing up the order. I assume we'll get straight into the race. So actually, I ought to do a quick check with all the drivers. Been a while since I've been in SNL, so I can't remember all their start procedures. But we should shortly be getting underway. Right, so here we go. The first of 3 races. 14 laps here at Fuji. Away we go. So it's a grid start with false start checks. Drivers can jump the lights. Those who are feeling particularly brave can push those lights just a little bit more, have more snappy reaction times, gain a little bit off the start. And with a long run down to the start line, there's certainly potential for gaining quite a bit here. So we'll go on board with Gasman, our pole sitter. In fact, you know what? No, we'll go on board with Bunnies, our P2 sitter. So we go 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights are up. And away we go. Slow start for Edgar on the left as Ajax immediately looking to get alongside him. Gasman defending fairly well, but Bunnies is there up the inside and he appears to have got move done. Wendigo making himself part of the conversation. Everyone through nice and cleanly here for this first turn 1. And it is Bunnies who claims the initial lead and actually going a little bit wide there. A bit further back, we've got a bit of a side-by-side going on here for P5. Ben is off. Not too far though, just has to take the long way around. Rejoining way back in P9. I don't think there's any contact that led to that, but up ahead you've got Ajax and Tiny Terror. Side by side, not an amazing camera angle I'm doing here. No, Ajax is round. Ajax is round immediately at the start, down to P11. And in a sprint race like this, only 20 minutes long, that is oh so costly. Going to take him a while to claw his way back up to the top of the field. Further back, Rob under threat from Sutkus. These two quite close together, and there's so many different lines you can take through that last double corner. Anything can happen. I'm looking further up the order. There's Wendigo threatening Gasman for that P2. He looks to the inside. Does he get his braking right? No. Gasman able to hold it around the outside. The Scottish car shutting the door on the Brazilian one, but actually he's got his nose back in the door again, and this one's a bit harder to cut them off because the outside line gives you more to work with. And another driver now, Tomosi, is bringing himself into the conversation, as is Edgar. The 3 Lithuanian drivers all so close together, putting on a wonderful show for us here. And all of this wonderful news for Bunnies, you can pull away from this fight for P2. There's nothing better than being near the front at the start of the race and looking back and seeing a massive battle behind you, as you know you can just pull away from the field, help you secure that top spot. There's Rob there, just seen Pasukas into P8. Tiny Terror, I think, has dropped down the field somewhere. I'll quickly check, is it... Oh, actually, Sutkus is now down to last. Tiny Terror must have had a spin somewhere. We'll get back on board with our wonderful P2 battle. 4 cars all fighting for one position. Again, it's Gasman defending, again choosing the outside. But I think Wendigo bit more up the inside. They've got it side by side. The outside will grant you more grip. Has he got enough traction? Well, it looks like Wendigo does have more traction. He is up into P2. Gets himself into that front position. 1.7 behind Bunnies at the moment. Although having said that, somehow has gained a couple tenths of Bunnies through this corner. Look at this. These planted Group 2 cars. Well, we're not going to see these for race 2 and 3. I will tell you that much. Those are cars are much more hectic. Ben, we're having a look up the inside. You can see ahead actually Timosius has done a send on Gasman for, I don't know what's just happened with the P2 battle. Oh, someone's round. Wendigo around. Bit of contact between Ben and Slenderfella as a result. Wendigo down to P7. Are any of these drivers waiting, claiming responsibility? It does not seem to be the case. Timosius, though, has also lost out. And it is Gasman, then Edgar. No, Timosius has surrendered the position, I think, to Wendigo, so claiming the blame for that one. Rob up to P8 from his P10 in qualifying. Iron Brew for the win. Well, Iron Brew currently P2 after starting in pole. Front lot getting away a little bit. Ben goes to the outside, Slenderfella up the inside with that wonderful English flag. It's nearly gets taken out by Wendigo there. Right on to the back of him, the front three spreading out quite a bit, giving him a little bump on the back of the car. Looking into the outside now for the switchback. Well, I think he might have sold him, but ooh, he's had a moment. But he is through up into P4 for German car. Slenderfella now in a bit of a sandwich. When you've got Wendigo behind you, you certainly cannot take it too easy. It's actually both Timosius and Wendigo through in just one corner. Slenderfella caught absolutely sleeping through that complex. There's picking your battles, but you don't want to just roll over too much. So it remains to be seen how sensible that was, but that opens him up to behind. Who has he got behind him? Rob, actually doing a fairly good job of keeping up with these guys. The Slenderfella having a big moment, and Rob promoting himself up into P7. Up yet another place is the American. It's now Ben under threat from Wendigo, choosing the outside line here. The outside line does seem to be favourable thus far, but you do need to brake a little bit later and hold it, as actually Ben running deep to defend his position. A small bit of contact, so we've got a yellow flag. Who is that for? Is that for Edgar? That is for Edgar. Edgar has had a moment, and he's now dropped down to P6, joining onto this battle, making it once again a four-way battle, though this time for P3. Had a secure podium, but looks to no longer be the case. So Bunnies and Gasman now miles ahead of the rest of the field. Ukraine and Scotland absolutely gone. But look at this train of cars. Now, every place is another point, with the point system being used with the exception of first, which is 16 points compared to the 14 points of P2. The other place is 1 point difference. And that's totaled across the three races. That's the first of those three. Edgar looking to the inside of Timosius, but Timosius, he knows the corner, he knows you get a good exit. That's what really matters. You can already see him gaining time onto the back of him, using that slipstream, and able to tuck in behind Ben now. Ben does seem to be someone who prefers defending the inside here. Getting past Edgar is Timosius. And is he fully clear? He appears to be. Not cutting him off though, still leaving him a bit of space. Actually almost catching Ben. Does promote himself up into P5. We'll have a look a bit further down the field, see what other action is going on. Tiny Terror. Ajax is now caught up with him. Looking to be roughly a second a lap faster. So it should be onto his tail, as he is green here through the first sector. So what can he do? Canada versus Wales. 4/10 and closing. There's again another green sector on the back. People will always need coal. Wales known for its coal mining industry. If you go to Wales, you have to go visit the big pit. We'll see what goes on. Looking for a move up the inside, but that's not smart by Ajax because he's running himself narrow, and now done at the exit of the corner. Tiny Terror pulling away, that bit safer going into turn 1. Probably going to be able to defend yet another lap. We'll jump further up, see if anything is going on with this P4 battle. It was P3, but looks like Wendigo has used his pace and ran away. Is Ben going very deep? Can he hold it around the outside? He's on the green stuff, the green slippery stuff. Timosius up into P4. Is that set in stone? It's Ben and Edgar side by side, and Ben does back out Edgar, going the long way around. Does go wide, goes off track for it though. I think possibly should concede that place, decides doesn't need to. They're getting a little bit argy-bargy, and look at this. Nothing too aggressive, not quite pushing each other off, but certainly giving each other a nice, strong shoulder to look at. As Ajax is through on Tiny Terror. We missed the overtake. Suspected it would happen fairly soon. And now can Tiny Terror get him back? Sarge just to tuck in behind. And it is not to be, not yet at least. Nearly at the halfway point of the race. It will be when Bunnies crosses the line. Now what's the gap? P4 13 seconds to lead, P3 10 seconds, and then P2 fairly safe in his position, 3 seconds to the lead, as we are now halfway through the race. The lead is starting 8th of 14 laps. So Tiny Terror on the back of Ajax, 3 tenths, 2.5 tenths. Is he going to go for the move? No. But oh, Ajax is slightly deep, and that might be enough. He's alongside, he's got the traction. But no, backing out, Ajax. No, Ajax running deep. And is that enough for him to get the position back? Not just yet. Cuts to the outside. So not playing too defensive. He knows that'll cost him a good exit there. And that has pulled him out a half-second gap. Nice bit of defensive driving from the Canadian in the Canadian car. Field now fairly spread out, exception being Timosius under threat from Edgar. When you've got a driver that close to you on this straight, you know they're probably getting through Fuji, one of the longest straights you will find. And Edgar through very early, and actually I wonder if that's a deliberate choice by Timosius, so we can get him back in the braking zone. Well, he's gaining now already, and yes, look at this, smart racing by Japanese car, and he gets himself back up into 4. Very nice. Edgar currently the fastest lap at 27.6. Well, that's faster than qualifying by a couple of tenths. The pole lap not even touching that one. Rob on the back of Ben. Don't think there's been a mistake there, well, not that I can see at least. Rob currently holding a strong P7. He's done a remarkable job of just getting his head down, getting up through the field and making the most of what he can. Currently green, actually. So doing pretty well at the minute. And again, Tiny Terry's not falling off the back of Ajax. He's letting them know, you make a mistake, I'll be there and I'll be ready. And Ajax, we saw, was a very nice line there from Tiny Terror. And if you can get a good exit out of this final corner. Yes, look at this. 10.5 back. Setting him up for the move, pulling to the inside. Ajax choosing to defend the outside. Not going to have a whole lot of overspeed. Going to be brave on the brakes, but it should be doable. under the brakes. Ajax has run himself slightly deep, but is he okay? Can he get the traction? There's a lot more traction on the inside of this track I tend to find, and I think Tiny Terror, it's not complete yet though. Side by side still, and Ajax is through. Look at that. Cuts it wide and still fending off Tiny Terror. These two refusing to leave each other on track. Of course, in a format like this, every point counts. And actually, the finishing positions of this race, of course, dictating the grid of our next race. As the top three seem to be fairly set in stone now. Behind that are still close enough that could really be anyone's game. A few pockets of battling, a battle for P4, through a battle for P6, and then that battle for P9 we were just watching. Such a slender fella has fallen off the back of this group a little bit, just as I said. Three-way battle. A green lap for Rob. Moses pulling slightly away from Edgar now. Starting to get his P4 locked down. Ben braking bits early, but gives him a decent bit of exit speed. It's Ajax and Tiny Terror. Still no moves. Getting through the Tiny Terror. Welsh car doing everything it can. I mean, not quite a full second gap. But when you've got the driver behind you with the fastest lap, you're always that little bit more scared. You know their pace, you know, well, maybe if I do get away, they'll just set some more purple laps again. Be right on my tail, and all that hard work won't even guarantee me safety. Rob, America 250 on his bonnet. I believe the 250th anniversary of the United States this year. There's all a moment for Tiny Terror at the exit of that final corner, but actually not really losing him time. Whatever he did, it worked in terms of exit speed. It's too far back to go and remove this time around. How about anyone else? Rob falling slightly off the back of Ben. P6 not looking possible, but after qualifying P10, you'll absolutely take a P7. Grid at the moment getting quite spread out. 2.5 laps left to go. So Edgar, 1.2 seconds to Timosius. Lap of 28.6 to Timosius, 28.1. So lost half a second last lap, but we've seen he can go quite a bit faster. I think a mistake by Rob there, going up onto the side. It's not really grass, but up onto the banking just a little bit. Gives you quite a bit less traction coming out the corner, which of course will affect the ability to put the power down. Gap has closed down a couple of tenths between Timosius and Edgar, but not enough for him to go and fall any moves. And just 2 laps left. The race really starting to settle down now. Front 3 guys seem to have it very much secured. There's no chance of rain coming in to ruin it. Nice clear skies under the mountain. Slender fella, I do wonder if he's going to catch Rob. Minute not quite going fast enough. Ajax has now managed to get away from Tiny Terror. Sutkus too far back to really recover anything from this race, but still a couple more races to gain himself some more position. There we go, Jam saying good to have some live SNL again, and isn't that true? Live commentary always better, of course, with GT7. It means you get the intervals between the cars as you go in. It's not a guessing game, you know where they are. Is Edgar actually set in the purple against his own fastest time and being 7/10 back? He's not out of contention for P4. The top three guys seem to have just gone away. No chance of them being caught. Mosius cannot rest just yet. He needs to keep setting good corner splits. The Lithuanian being chased by the Lithuanian car in that Japanese livery, but actually he's opened that up now to a second. Having said that, that might be because he went deep, and all of a sudden that gap now down to half a second. But we will have to cut back. So in fact, no, hang on. I'm not going to cut back just yet. So quickly cut to Bunnies across the line to win the first race. Lagging across the line, we can see in the background there, there's two cars. Gasman for Scotland, for Andrew in P2. Brazil, Wendigo coming across the line in P3. Timosius will defend his P4. There's Edgar just behind him. Ben for Germany, P6. And shortly followed by Rob. A very clean race, just slowly moved himself up through the pack. Slender fella, P8. Ajax, he had his spin early on, recovered it up to P9. Would have liked to have a better race. He will take what he has. Tiny Terror for Wales in P10. And it will be Sutkus finishing up that grid for us here. So there we go, that concludes the first race. So we'll have a quick look at the results and then move on to race 2. So here we go. Bunnies taking the lead, Gasman in P2 and Wendigo P3. Give me a sec as I'm making notes of this. P4 for Timosius, P5 for Edgar, P6 going to Ben, P7 going to Rob. Strong race by him. Shame not to see him get up into P6, but I think he'll be pretty happy with that one. All things considered. Then our bottom three, Ajax P9, Tiny Terror P10, and Sutkus P11. Just give me a sec to set up the lobby for the second race. Of course, the current standings are the positions of this first race. So edit the settings, and race 2 is going to be 22 laps of Brands Hatch Indy in the BAC Mono. I have to find Brands Hatch, there we go, Brands Hatch Indy, 22 laps with custom weather. All other settings should stay the same. I'll assume the drivers have had a chance to grab the replays needed, and there we go. I have also just realised I was meant to set a custom grid, so bear with me a quick second, as I'm going to have to again rejig the lobby settings. So let's change this to set by host. There we go. Right, let's try that again. Set by host. apologies. I was a last minute change for the lobbies. We were having some lag under the initial host. So if all the drivers listening can enter, and then we'll set the grid order and get underway. So Bunny is up front. Then we had P2 Gasman, who's still not entered. P3 was Wendigo. P4 Timosius. P5 Edgar. P6 Ben. P7 Rob. P8 Slenderfella. P9 Ajax. So we can move Gasman up to P2 now. 8 Slenderfella, 9 Ajax, then Tiny Terror, and then Circus. There we go, that should be our grid. All present and correct. And we'll see if our drivers are ready for round 2. Or race 2. So here we go, you can see the wonderful different cars, all those BSC monos. Each driver is still representing the same nation, but of course a different set of liveries to enjoy. All the drivers out on the track, all but Slenderfella and Ajax, who said yeah, okay. Here we go. Race 2 is underway. So once race 2 is up, we'll tally up the points. I've made a spreadsheet to do that all for me, and then we will see how we're doing going into race 3. Of course, given the format we're using, reverse grid based off of this race sets the third grid. It's going to be a massive shake-up going into our final race of Laguna Seca. Quick lap timers around here at Brands Hatch Indy as the lights are up. And away we go again. Wendigo straight to the side. Is that Timosius in the Japanese car? Off onto the grass. And is that 4 wide going into turn 1? My goodness, Ben. A huge jump up, but no, he's off into the gravel. Nudged wide and dropping all the way back down to P10, I think. Possibly all the way to the back of the grid. And again, looks like another 4 wide, 3 wide at least, going up through that corner. I've never quite learnt the names of the Brands Hatch corners. Timosius nearly going off onto the grab. Rob up into P5. That man just keeps moving up through the grid today. Bunnies has escaped once again, but the battle for P2 rages on as Wendigo on the back of Gasman going a little bit wide there was Rob. We'll see what else is going on here. Japan and England, 2 flags of the same colours, so I keep nearly getting them mixed up. There's Timosius who comes out ahead of Slenderfella, and it is absolute chaos in these cars. Slenderfella looking up the inside, not going to happen. Wendigo is up into P2. Gasman right on the back of him. Is that still an Iron Brew car or not for Scotland? I can't see an Iron Brew sponsor. Is Edgar actually getting up into P3? A tricky complex of corners. These cars, actually did just see Iron Brew. These cars will so easily drift wide. They feel like they're kind of going where you want them to, and then brake not quite enough, and all of a sudden you've lost. Oh, someone's around. Somebody is around, and that is Timosius. So easy to do. I gave these cars a little test drive. Coming out that final corner, you get on the power too early, and you just go around Timosius all the way down to P11. That pretty much puts an end to getting a good result from this race, but will help going into the final race in terms of starting position. So Sutkus on the back of Tiny Terror, who is up into P8 after finishing P10. previous race. Rob is in P5. This man has massively impressed me today. Actually side by side for P6. We'll see he gets in the power earlier. Does appear to be German Rob slotting in just behind. And look at this cockpit can. Why have I not used this sooner? Going wide up the inside. Is slender fella? No, he is not. But having a look uphill here, braking quite late, and I think, yeah, a little bit of contact lets him stay ahead because of it. Some more action going on further back. Suckers fending off Ajax. We do have 3 nations racing today, where the sole colours on the flag are red and white. Japan, Canada and England. So, Bunnies not got a massive lead over Wendigo. But a lead over Wendigo is never a safe lead to have. Already 4 laps in, the race feeling like it's going past so fast. Of course, with 45-second lap times, that is to be expected. Where did I see a side-by-side there? I am not sure. Something going on further back here. See, actually between Rob and Timosius. There must have been a mistake from Rob. Yeah, last lap a 54.2. And after the wonder we were talking about him pulling off in that first race. Mistake dropping him down the order. Having a small moment. We'll jump on board the 2 drivers ahead though. So Ajax looking to go up the inside, but given a little love tap on the back, unable to get through because of it. Going up the hill, he's got a huge amount of overspeed there. Side's better of it, although Sutka's leaving the door wide open. As the 2 of them are side by side. And they're still side by side, although Ajax now slotted in behind, slotted in to that P9. Trying to go the long way around. That's not a particularly good idea when you've got a gravel trap on your outside. But able to get the switch back. Maybe he's got the overspeed here. Turn 1, you've got to be brave to go for a move. But at Brands Hatch Indy, you've got to be brave to go for a move no matter where. And a little love tap sees him through up into P8. There's someone into the gravel, I think I saw. But we will hop on board with this lead battle, as actually Bunnies has been dethroned by Wendigo. Haven't seen much battling for the lead apart from lap 1 of last race. So welcome sight indeed. Wendigo had to close down that gap, and he certainly did so well. "22 laps. If anyone is lapped during this World Cup event, this would be the race that it would happen, with how tentative you have to be on corner exits. Chances of spinning round so much more likely in this car than the other 2. There is a little bit of lag going on between these 2. Edgar himself under threat from Gasman for P3. So hard to get a move done here. Hopefully the lag from Bunny's not affecting the other drivers too much. Wendigo was able to get through into the lead. And I have just seen a massive congregation of cars further back. Tiny Terror leading a group of 4. Timosius was able to get past Rob at some point. So we've got red, white and green. Red and white. Red, white and blue. And then red and white. Having said that, Sutkus is wide into the gravel. We're glad he didn't spin. Although it's still be annoyed with himself for going wide, followed by red, white and blue car. An awful lot of red and white going on with this here grid. So here we go. Japan closing in on Canada. Actually setting the green time while he is at it. Possibly I might be about to miss an overtake for the lead, so we're going to quickly hop on board with Bunnies. But no, it is not to be. Here we go. Timosius going for a massive send up the inside of Ajax. And I think he's managed to make it stick. Ooh! And off goes Timosius, a tap on the rear from Ajax. And that looked fairly clean cut. And you can see over there Ajax, gentleman that he is, waiting up for Timosius. But that is not good for either of their races. They're now a long way back. In fact, they're closer to the leaders behind them than they are in front of them. Tiny Terror onto the back of Rob. There's Rob going wide, but how wide is the question? Looks like wide enough for Tiny Terror to just cruise on by up into P8, although he's left the door open on the inside. Now the two of them side by side, vying for traction. But it is Tiny Terror who comes out on top, claims that P8 position. Further up the grid, Gasman on the back of Edgar. The Scotsman, pole in his first race and a P2 finish. Like a little bit better than that to help his overall chances of winning. Of course, Wendigo finishing P3 last time will actually mean Wendigo and Bunny's current finishing positions would have them tied both on 30 points. Actually, no, sorry, my maths is wrong. Maths is completely wrong. Sorry, Bunnies would be 1 point ahead of Wendigo if they finish in their current positions. Rob and Tiny Terror still pretty close together on the track. Tiny Terror perhaps pulling away a little bit. It's only one mistake from being back in grasp. Come in at quite a shallow angle. Well, that's not what you want with these cars. You want to open them up as soon as they can. As Sutkus is off the track. Front bumper damage for him. Now Timosius and Ajax will be glad to have caught someone else. Timosius, wide entry to try and help support a fast exit. He was looking for it around the outside. The door been slightly shut on him. I think you just go for a switchback here, get them in the uphill section. Just like that. So he is through into P9. Probably wanted to hunt down Tiny Terror and Rob up ahead, but no, again tapped on the rear. Moses' luck nowhere today. Perhaps braking too early for that corner, that's why that keeps happening. That is now the second time he's received a love tap into that corner. We'll check where are the leaders. Well, they're in the middle sector. In fact, it looks like the front six drivers completely separated from the back five. It is Wendigo ahead. Bunny's not able to close down, although one purple, the other green. So these two guys certainly not slowing down. Edgar, the next man, still not hugely ahead of Gazman, but enough you can start to get a little bit comfortable here in this race. They've got, what, 6 laps left to go. So still plenty of time for moves to be made, mistakes to come into play. Ooh, hello, Timosius again round. He did that earlier on in the race. And clearly struggling to get on with these cars now. Watch this. There's Timosius, and here comes our leaders. And he is now an entire lap down. Going to be very hard to unlap himself under the SNL rules. It's catching up the other positions to gain. Seems more and more unlikely in this gap, actually 12 seconds, so even more unlikely still. So Ajax had to wait up for a previous incident, cost him a bit of time. See what he can do in terms of gain. Really pushing there. A little bit on the gravel. Didn't cost him too much time, if any. So trying to see it. And actually, no, I thought it was an on-track battle. But it is just bunnies with Timosius sitting just behind him. There's bunnies potentially going for a purple lap now. Purple going into the final sector. If he gets a strong last sector, then he'll be looking strong. There is only 3 laps left. He is purple, but Timosius is more purple behind him, interestingly. I do like the front bumper of this car, the Ukrainian skyline, just sitting there, a nice touch to a wonderful blue and yellow livery. So Ajax is just over 3 laps to make his move up into P9. Of course, the benefit to being further back is you don't have to fight your way through the grid in the final race at Laguna Seca. Someone is round, and who is that? That is Timosius again round. Well, I guess that can't cost him any more than before. Did partially miss the overtake of Ajax on Sutkus, being very generous on the exits. The two of them now side by side. The two of them still side by side. It's dirt being kicked up off the Canadian car, and it is Ajax who ultimately comes out on top of that one, but they still have 2 more laps of scrapping left to go. We'll see if anyone else does have any more on track battling. Bunny's still not close enough to Wendigo despite his attempt at fastest lap. Further down the order, Gazman has to keep it clean, but looks to be fairly secure in his position. Of course, Sutkus can still cause problem for Ajax. Himself isn't too far off the back of Bunnies. Timosius, a race to forget for him, but a pole start for the final race, so you have to take the positives. His job in the final race would be to get him as fast as he can, just pull away from the field, while fast guys like Wendigo, like Bunnies, like Gazman, who are at the back, all fighting each other as they fight their way up through the field. And I've just seen the Christ, the Redeemer statue on the side of this Brazilian car as Wendigo comes towards the line to win the second race of the World Cup. Put some nice points on the board. Bunnies, though, will still be our current point leader after a P1 and a P2 sitting on 31 points for him. Gazman able to fend off Edgar closer than it looked like he would have been at one point. 45.8, a few weaker laps towards the end, but it holds it in the end. Ben for Germany, P5, slender fella, P6 for England, as Timosius way down in P11. Rob will be our next driver in P7. And then Tiny Terror able to fend off Sutkus for P8. And Ajax will be our last man to the line. P10 for him. Not the race he wanted. He will have to take it. So there we go. That concludes race 2, and I will shortly give you the current point standings once I've finished plugging in all of my numbers. So currently we have got in the lead Bunnies sitting on hang on that. Oh, of course, no. Bunnies sitting on 30 points. Then just behind him Wendigo on 29, Gasman on 27. So the top 3 separated by 3 points. Then Edgar on 23, Ben on 21, Rob on 18. Then we have got Slenderfella also on 18 points. And actually winning on countback. Then Timosius on 17, P8, Tiny Terror on 14 points, Ajax on 13, and Sutkus on 12. So all looking to be quite close. No one lagging majorly behind, and everything to play for going into the final race, which will be how many laps? 12 laps of Laguna Seca. A wonderful American track. Hard not to love as we go into this third and final race. So we'll have to set the grid order, reverse from the previous finishing positions. That means Timosius is going to have that pole position once all the drivers start to enter. Wendigo, not BSE Mono, please. Camaro. Still in the BSE Mono. Ah, there we go. Corrected it. So, who have we got? Who's entered? Still waiting on... Oh, Slender Fella briefly leaving and rejoin. Seems to be okay. Right, here we go. So, on pole, we've got Timosius. Then just behind him we have got Ajax in Canada. Then Norway. Wales. USA. England, who's not yet entered, so I'll go out back in. There we go, England. Germany. Lithuania. Okay, there's Lithuania, not very Lithuanian colours, but Lithuania. Scotland, Ukraine, and Brazil to finish out the order. There we go. That concludes our starting order. Everyone present and correct in the right cars. As you can see, a 2 wide through corkscrew. I'll quickly check that our drivers are ready. And the admin's happy I've got the settings correct for this third and final race, where, as mentioned, the top 2 drivers not separated by much whatsoever. 1 point separating the top 2, or first and second, are 2 points between them in terms of points. I'd say 3 main drivers in play: Bunnies, Wendigo, Gasman. But with the reverse grid, it really could be anyone's. Well, actually, I say it could be anyone's. Some drivers are mathematically out of contention already, but not many. 16 points for a win. Only 3 bottom 3 drivers are knocked out of contention. So there we go. All the drivers declaring they are ready for the race. And we'll begin the third and final race of the SNL World Cup 2026. So here we go, all the Camaros lined up. About as American car as you get a road car here. We had a race car, we had a track car, and now a road car to finish us off here in America. And away we go for the final time in this event. As these wide cars, and Ajax immediately got his nose up inside. You can see chaos at the back. Bunny's trying to make moves up the inside, a little bit of contact. Rob caught in the middle there. Slender fella is off into the gravel in the background. There's all some contact there between Edgar and Tiny Terror. And all the dust being kicked up. Laguna Seca's famous dirt. Sutkus having a bit of a bouncy moment. Mosey's doing exactly what he needed to do, running away with it. Sutkus doing well to get past Ajax. As Rob is actually up into P5 and Ben barging past Tiny Terror. Sutkus is wise, temporarily creating a 3 wide. Actually, Sutkus right the way down to P9 from that. Ben, a very aggressive pass, probably should have let him back through. See if that gets reported and what the stewards have to say. Edgar giving him a little nudge through. It's so hard to get this many cars through when they're that large. Is Edgar on Rob up the inside, nudging him through onto the gravel, and an almighty dodge there by the Welsh car. A heavy braking zone into this final corner, and so hard to get it right as Rob shows here, coming back on, and round is Tiny Terror, and someone else has picked up within that as well. Who was that? I'm not sure, but pincered between two cars. The car on the inside had no way of knowing. Sutkus, I think, given the damage on his car. And that will bring an end to Tiny Terror's chances of placing much higher on the scoreboard. Ben and Edgar still being an absolute menace to each other. Rob kicking up the dirt in the background. Timosius has done his job. 2-second lead, exactly what he wanted. Ajax, not a slow driver, just struggled with consistency today. Again, that German livery, nice one indeed. Bunny's gone for a simple but very nice clean livery that just works. Blue one side, yellow the other, gravel on his tyres. Go down through the corkscrew. Actually, Edgar and Ben both going deep, and Wendigo making the most of Ajax having a little nap mid-corner. Up into P4 is he. Now remember, Wendigo and Bunnies know they are each other's main rival, and with Gazman down in P8, it really is just those two. It's actually Gazman doing a bit of lawn mowing on the grass that is already non-existent. Wendigo having a taste of the gravel. As Ajax and Bunnies, the brothers, side by side. But it is the younger brother who comes out on top. It's all very deep there for Bunnies. I should say very deep. Seems to have done an alright job of getting him through at the corner. That is a lot of gravel on his tyres, and of course once your tyres get dirty, now the lag isn't going to help here, but once your tyres get dirty, each corner becomes harder than the last. Rob looking for the move on Ajax, not going to happen. A very tricky corner to go up the inside of. Gazman P8, well, he knows he needs to beat both Bunnies and Wendigo if he wants to stand a chance of winning the whole event. At the moment, current finishing positions intact. It will be Bunnies who wins on countback because he will tie on points with Wendigo. So Bunnies is a first and a second. Wendigo has a first and a third at the minute. There's ahead though. Look at this, as you've got Ben and Edgar were side by side, but Wendigo making the most of that opportunity, and it looks like Bunnies is going to be making the most of this as well. So Wendigo on the inside, but is he boxed in by the boxed shape cars side by side of these two? Bunny's looking for the move on the inside of both of them. Can he get a double overtake done? It looks like he can. Oh, wonderful piece of driving by him. And enough to put him where he wants to be. He'll know what the points are. He'll know he's only 1 point ahead of Wendigo. He needs to beat him on... Well, actually, if they're first and second, he loses out. If he's only 1 place behind him, he is okay because of countback. How far ahead Timosius is second is about the best he can hope for. It's in the background. Some contact going on between Wendigo and Ben. These cars sliding all over the place. No, someone's around. It's Edgar. Edgar around. As is Rob. 2 of them round. I don't think connected incidents. Not from what I saw. I may be mistaken, but those two not next to each other on track. And that opens up the doors for the rest of the... or for our top runners to work their way through the field that much faster. Gazman, his 2 rivals still within sight. Seeing them and getting past them, 2 very, very different things. Pat saying in the chat, it is definitely interesting to see how the different country colours have been interpreted in the liveries, and yes, I certainly agree. And it's interesting to see how the same designers are applying them to different cars. So Edgar completely threw me off with the colour scheme he's gone from there. The Lithuanian cars colours are on the car door, but the car primarily white, and he's gone for, I believe, I know it's not texted, it's just dots of some kind. Whereas most of the other cars are primarily, and even his other 2 cars, primarily colours of the flag. Scotland, of course, got to have the cross. You've got to have an eyebrow sponsor. Scousman looking to move up into P5 in a very nice exit. Is going to help him here. Inside is a brave place to go for a move. Ajax does concede. Scousman up into P5. Oh, having said that, across the gravel at the corkscrew. So easy to go deep into that corner. Thought I saw a battle somewhere, but I might be going insane. So Wendigo still on the back of Bunnies, but beating him by 1 position is not enough. As Wendigo is left. We were on board with him and he just vanished. I would expect that to be internet. That was very strange. That almost solidifies Bunnies the win, because now Gazman, who's 3 points behind him, would need to beat him by either 3 places or get a win. That might bring a very quick end to who is going to win this. Gazman going very wide, opening up the door for Ajax to get back through, and look at these cars sideways sliding around these bends. The race nearly halfway up. This Tiny Terror's actually managed to get himself up another place. Wendigo rejoining the room, but of course unable to rejoin the race with how GT7 does its lobbies. Ajax late on the brakes. Gazman sideways through the corkscrew, but making it work. A nice exit, putting himself a slightly better position on the track. That is still such a shame for Wendigo to have disconnected. The fact he's immediately rejoined. I suspect some kind of connection issue. Again, more gravel being picked up. Of course, it was Daniel Ricciardo who was had those clips of him, especially at the Red Bull Ring, where he would deliberately keep his line, where he'd go onto the grass slightly to kick up grass just to throw it into the face of the cars behind him. I'm not sure that quite works when you're doing it through a game, but some of these drivers are using VR here. I know with a lot of the Lithuanian guys, VR drivers. Right onto the back of his car, but overtaking into corkscrews so hard. You just have to pressure them, hope they make a mistake, run too deep, get a nice exit. But actually it does seem to be Gasman with the stronger exits out of the corkscrew at the minute. Talk about sideways. That should potentially get a threat from Edgar behind. So Ajax currently sitting P10 in the standings on 13 points. Well, he's looking for a much better point haul of 11 points, which would nearly double the current tally. Quick run through of the order. Mosius, 5-second lead. He's done what he needed to do. Man, currently P8 in the standings, but of course one of the fastest drivers starting out front after really struggling with BAC Mono at Brands Hatch. Bunnies has wonderfully worked his way up through the field, finishing P2 last race, so starting P10. He's done what he needed to do in terms of moving up. Ben sitting P3, the man P5 in the standings, and does stand a chance of making moves up, as what have I just heard? That is Ajax around down to P6. The Canadian car suffering as Norway flies past. That's all the way down to P7. That is not what he wanted. He struggled. He's had a P9 and a P10 so far. Ah, the caramel wafer sponsor. I had one of those earlier today. If you've never tried one, try caramel wafer. Perhaps not the best snack for the current temperatures we've got here in the UK. And they're certainly not really one you want to stick in the fridge, 'cause they don't work as well when they're cold. But one of my personal favourites. Good snack for nibbling away at work. So, Gasman sitting P4 and actually looks to be very secure in getting P2 in the standings. Edgar, the man behind him, sitting 4 points behind him. Well, he stands to gain 1 point, making that a 5-point difference come the end of the race. But of course, as with any SNL race, the results at the end will be provisional to any stewards' decisions, and I've certainly seen a few bumps take place over the course of these 3 races. We've got 3.5 laps left to go, so of course anything can happen as Canada and Wales close together on track after Ajax's mishap last lap. Unsure if that was provoked by another driver or just struggling with the car with the conditions. The problem this Camaro has is, ooh, very deep by Tiny Terror. Manages to hold on, he will end up giving that position back as a unfair gain. Actually, he's gone completely off. What is going on here? Tiny Terror has his wheel disconnected. He's left the room. Not sure what happened there, but another driver is gone. As we will hop on board with Edgar, who has been able to close down on Gasman. And he is past Gasman. Suspect a mistake given where he was able to get the move done. Bill sideways, and all of a sudden Gasman getting a faster exit speed, but onto the gravel a little bit, and that's going to cost him the acceleration off the line. It's Gasman very much abusing the curbs on the inside, but that's what you have to do in these cars. We will quickly jump towards the front where Timosius 1:29.0, Bunny's 28.7. This slender fella's gone as well. We're down to 8 drivers now. What is happening in this final race? But as I was saying, 2 laps left to go. 2 seconds, or less than 2 seconds left to gain. Can Bunnies close it down to the lead? That's certainly not a good way to start it there. Running a little bit deep. Just looking very secure to win this World Cup. I'm trying to remember who won the previous World Cup. I think it was Pat. That looked like an internet failure, like there wasn't any input to try and correct things. Yeah, quite possibly. I certainly thought it was for Wendigo. Hard to know with any of them. There seemed to be some semblance of control for Tiny Terror's car, but then also not at the same time. So Bunny's looking to set purple laps, and at the minute looking on track to win SNL's second run-in of the World Cup. 4 years since the last one KTM Expos at Northern Isle Speedway, where, if memory serves, I think I was the runner-up. I was certainly in the top 3, got through to the final of that, didn't win. There we go, a purple lap, 9/10, well, it was double that last time around. So the chance is there for Bunnies to pick up yet another victory here. Stay on board with this here Ukrainian car, hunting down Japan. Again, another purple sector for him. How nice would it be for him to bring home yet another win? He's had a P1, he's had a P2. 3 results in the top 2 would certainly be nice. Having 2 wins on the way to that would be just that bit nicer. So they're going down the corkscrew for the final time, and at the minute it is looking in Timosius' favour. Bunnies will need a very aggressive move up the inside, but actually he's a lot closer than he was before. And we might see him go for something into the final corner. Will we see final corner overtake? What can he do in terms of exit? Really working on his exit speed. Timosius, as he ran deep, what's going to happen? It's a side-by-side drag towards the line, but it is Timosius holding on to win the race, but Bunnies to win the world, or provisionally win the 2026 SNL World Cup. I suspect very unlikely that will be taken away from him. Ben across the line for P3, flashes headlights. I've not heard any car horns. Edgar P4, Gasman getting P5 in the end, but I think securing P2 for him in this here championship. It can be called that. Sutkus P6, Ajax will be the next man to the line, P7 for Canada, and then Rob, the final on-track finisher. Of course, initially 11 drivers, and that is a P8 for him. So we will start to tally up what the results are, see where everything pans out. I will let you know what standings are looking like. So P3 for Ben, Edgar P4, Gasman 5, Sutkus P6 for him, his strongest result. He had a P11 and a P9 coming into this. Ajax getting P7, again a strongest result for him. Rob a P8, then the remaining drivers not finishing on track. And actually, I will have to ask how many points those guys are getting. But it is Bunnies who wins this race. Or sorry, wins the SNL World Cup with 44 points, a win and 2 P2s. 6 points back is Gazman on 38, Edgar on 35, Ben on 34, Timosius on 33, so close, 3 drivers, 2 points separating them. Wendigo, 29 points for the first 2 races. I'm waiting to hear from the admins on if he gets any more. Rob with 26 points. Tied on 22 points is Ajax and Sutkus. Sutkus actually gets that on countback from the P6 he got this race. Slenderfella on 18, waiting to hear back if he gets any points from this final one. And then Slenderfella, 14 points for him, again waiting to hear if he gets any from this final disconnect. But there we go. I hope you all enjoyed. As I can't beat a caramel wafer. Yeah, couldn't agree more. Although I have found, don't stick them in the fridge. They're not pleasant when they're cold. As Pat saying, I think the last SNL World Cup was the first night of racing I had ever won. You've only ever won once again since then, and narrowly lost a second out of the final chicane at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Yeah, I thought it was you who'd won the World Cup, but wasn't too certain. So bear with me, I'm speaking to the admins to find out how many points. Okay, so all the DNFs have been given the equivalent of P9, which does slightly shake things up, as that actually skyrockets Wendigo up into P3 in the standings on 36 points. Slenderfella up to P8 and 25 points. Tiny Terror is last, but he's only last by 1 point, 21 points behind. Tied 22, Ajax and Sutkus, which goes to Sutkus on countback. Oh, actually, sorry, change of plan. Apparently, the DC points have been based on order of disconnects. So Wendigo will get a P11th. Slenderfella will get a P10. And Tiny Terror will get a P9, which does bump Wendigo down to be tied on points with Ben, but win on countback for his win in race 2. So, final provisional standings, if you will excuse the jumping around. Bunnies with the win, 2 wins, 2 seconds, sorry, 1 win, 2 seconds, wonderfully raced here today. Then Gazman in P2, 38 points. Edgar P3, 35. A 5th and 2 4th place, a bit of a kind of subtle well done. Then Wendigo on 34, tied with Ben, but winning on countback from his win. 33 points to Mosius for P6. So P3, 4, 5 and 6 separated by just 2 points. Bit of a jump then down to Rob on 26. Slenderfella on 24. Okay, apparently the admins keep changing what the scores are going to be, so everything's provisional. Slenderfella P8, Ajax P9, Sutkus P10, and then Tiny Terror bringing up the order. Thank you all for watching. Apologies for the mess of results at the end. So thank you, Rob and Ben, for the comms compliments. And yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed watching, but bye from me for now.